get going, guys. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to Draglist Live, where we bench race with the world's top drag racers. My name is Bill Pratt, and I am thrilled tonight to be joined by Stephen McClain of the Mill Road Boys, the Chevy-powered nostalgia top fuel team, keeping nitro alive on the East Coast from 5.8-second passes in the Heritage Series. And Stephen's got stories that span 5 decades of drag racing history. There he is in the garage, ready to go. Before we bring Stephen in, let's go to John real quick. John, how are you doing tonight?
We're doing great here, BP, and howdy from Houston, everybody. Please join us on the live chat. I'll take notes and I'll pass your questions and comments along to Bill and Stephen.
Thank you, John. Folks, before we get started, click the like, the little thumbs up down below, click the shared button. You can subscribe at the Draglist logo. Let your friends know we have Stephen McClain live. And to prove it, let's bring him in. Stephen McClain, welcome to the show.
Hey, Bill, it's good to see you. I haven't talked to you in a couple of years.
How are you? I think the last time we talked, we were sitting at your setup, I think up at the Lebanon, Pennsylvania. You kind of had a booth set up, and we sat there jaw jacked.
We did. We were looking for some crew help, and didn't. I think the sign, when it said somebody wanting to work on a fuel car, I think the word "work" was scaring them away.
You have to change your message.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Chevy-powered nostalgia top fuel, keeping it going. Tell us about how things are going. So Ernie and Steve McClain forever, long East Coast lineage. But we were just talking a little bit before the show. You're starting to line up some new crew.
Yeah, we got a couple new guys coming on. Zach Rossi and Brett Rossi. Brett, our air conditioner took a crap during the summer, and these guys came and they were working on it. And the guy said to me, he says, "You got a dragster out there?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Can I go look at it?" I said, "Yeah, you can come look at it." So he came out here and he says, "Man, that's so cool." He says, "I got a drag boat, but I can't race it because of one thing or another." I said, "That's too bad because we can really use some help." He said, I can come help. Then he got his nephew, Zach, to come up. So, yeah, we've got John Mills, which is the owner and going to be the driver.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Toth. You know a guy named Roger Toth?
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
Yeah, so Roger's a big part of this car. As a matter of fact, the superchargers, Rogers. Both the fuel pumps are Rogers. The starter belongs to Roger. So Roger's definitely into this. And Roger just loves. We met Roger we were at Bowling Green one year, and I didn't even. I kind of knew Roger, but never really met him.
Yeah.
And on the wing of the car, it said Bob Jenkins. And Roger said, "Do you know Bobby Jenkins?" I said, "Yeah, he built the wings and blah." I said, "Who are you?" He said, "Roger Toth." I said, "Holy smokes, man, you're famous." And to me, he is famous, you know. So he joined up, and then there's Vic Gray, who worked with me at General Motors. And there's Frank Cassell. He was the parts guy or the service manager at the Buick place down in Elkton here. So it's looking pretty good. We just really need Zach to be able to get down under the motor and take the oil pan off and push the pistons out. So
there you go.
Maybe pour a little hot oil on him to get him started.
A big strapping lad and get him initiated.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, we got the best of the East Coast rat power top fuel coming back together. That's amazing.
Yeah, with Roger and us. Yeah, and it's just and he drove the Hemi Hunter. I mean that's a famous operation there too.
You bet. Yeah, I did a 6-part. Well, I didn't write it; they wrote it, but I edited it. We did a 6-part series on that car way back in the day.
Yeah, I was just reading some of that recently. Yeah.
I never take a page down, so it's still out there. But I really need to update my website. I have to be.
And our first Crowler glide that we ever had, I got from. Let me think about this. It was Jim Johnson. Jim Johnson, and who's the other guy that was the main guy in the Hemi Hunter? Not Roger, but I can't think of his name right now. But anyhow,
yeah, now you're putting me on the spot. All those guys.
Yeah,
amazing.
It'll come to me eventually.
Yeah, it was like you're about 5 names.
Yeah,
it's truly the days when you just like your team. You kind of get a bunch of guys, put it together, and work.
Yeah,
make it happen.
We've had over the years. We've had people come and go, but we kind of stuck in here. Ernie and I were, We started with B Fuel, then went to Top Dragster, or Top Alcohol Dragster.
Right.
And then we ended up with this car here. So, and we've had this car since 1999, I guess.
Yeah, it's still rocket. So I mean, some of the best times I was looking up, I ran through the drag race list, 589 at 246 back at Epping, 2014 with Jimmy Young driving. So
yeah, but it's run quicker than that. Joey Haas drove it 582 at Martin 2 years ago.
Nice. Got
yeah.
it.
But that run with Jimmy, when Jimmy drove it, that's one of my favorite things to watch on it's on YouTube or somewhere, the Epping, New Hampshire race.
Uh-huh.
And it was against Bartone, and they say, and Jimmy Young, the Chevy, and I'm thinking, yeah. Man, that's it. And that's the run that Bartone ran 270.
Yeah, wow.
And I don't think it'd run 270 if Jimmy wasn't ahead of him at 1,000 foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was putting it out the back door.
It was pretty cool. And then, if you could look at our tracks, the tracks went down, and then there was a little bit of a wiggle in it. And I'm thinking that little bit of a wiggle might just been enough that we lost. But we were jumping down like we won because we ran 580, It
was a hell of a run. Yeah, I had Jimmy at a 602 at 225 at Bowling Green in 19. But I'll get that 582 listed. I mean,
yeah, Joey Haas.
Yeah, he's amazing. I said if I said Jimmy, I meant Joey. Yeah.
Yeah, Joey Haas. Yeah.
In 2014 NHRA Heritage Series finished number 2 overall with Jimmy Young driving.
Yeah, well, that year that was an interesting year because Jimmy drove 3 cars that year. Jimmy drove our car, his car, and Nitro Hemi car. So that was pretty cool. I mean, that'd been cool if he could have pulled that off.
That would have been so. He was in the Crop Duster as well, right? Wasn't that the Top Fuel car of that team?
Yeah, that was Frank Owsley. Frank Owsley's Crop Duster, and they won the March meet twice.
Yeah. He's rocking it. And of course, your partners go with the funny car. 2005 Englishtown funny car reunion winner. I was there over Rob Bruce.
Oh yeah.
Remember those days? IHRA Pro Nostalgia funny car champion in 2010, Mr. Steve Nichols, your partner.
Yeah.
So,
he did pretty good with that thing.
So yeah, great rat powered. And of course, as you said, started with B fuel dragsters and Top Alcohol in the 70s. But the one thing that stayed constant is Chevys.
Chevy power. We never, we ran a small block Chevy on nitro with B fuel, small block Chevy on blown alcohol, AA dragster alcohol, and then we ran a blown Top Alcohol car with an Oldsmobile in it. Right. As a matter of fact, that's the first motor we had in this car. Was we put that blown Oldsmobile in here for Ernie to get his license, and it made enough power and all that he got his Top Fuel license, even though it was an alcohol motor.
Right.
So.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. It was was that a small block then, or was that one of those?
No, it was a. As a matter of fact, it was a Rodak block with Warren Johnson Pro Stock heads on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really an Oldsmobile kind of thing.
Yeah, there's the top. That's the top combo right there.
Yeah, it never really did that good. I mean, we were always kind of behind in the parts, And matter of fact, the last day we ran that thing, it crashed at Cecil County, and we had just put a brand new Mert Littlefield 1471 on it that morning. The car flipped over and broke the blower. And of course, wadded the car off also.
Yeah, man, sorry. So that 246, was that the best speed so far? Or did you go faster?
That was the best speed so far. Yeah.
That's lots, man. I know.
Yeah, I always wanted to, I'm not giving up. I really want to be the quickest ever Chevrolet, and I want to be the fastest ever Chevrolet. And of course, that's a hard road to go because if you think just Chevrolets, Bobby McClannon's the top of the Chevrolets with that small block.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's run 560 something. So that's a hard nut to crack.
Yeah, you talking about the Santos car out there back in the day?
No, Champion Speed Shop.
Oh, Champion Speed Shop. Never mind. My head was back on alcohol.
No,
560s, not 660.
Yeah, 567. I think they ran with that car.
Yeah, they're flat flying, but you'll get them. I'm confident.
We're not giving up yet.
Well, oh my gosh. So who's some of the favorite folks that you've raced over the years? When you line up the Rat against the Hemis, was there anybody you especially like to beat?
No, not really. I mean, it seemed like a lot of times when we went to the races, we'd end up running Jimmy Young, which is a friend of ours, and Jimmy'd always said, man, this sucks that we got to race each other. I said, one thing, I feel good racing against you because I know you're not going to do anything nutty.
Right.
So, yeah, there was nobody that we really said, like, man, I really want to beat that guy. It's just fun. I mean, some guys are just all about like winning, and I like the experience. I mean, I like to see the
Right.
thing go down the track. That's to me, that's the most fun of the whole thing.
Right. Yeah, you got the tune up right, you got it sounding good, and A to B getting it done.
Yeah, we got a little off on the tune up last year. I mean, we had changed some things around, and we went down there to Alabama to that Rocket City, and it ran good. I mean, Joey was driving it. It ran, I guess, 380 something at 209 in the eighth.
Wow.
First time with this car we were ever number one qualifier.
Wow.
Ended up being runner up at the race against Michael Anderson. He won, but then we went from there to Norwalk, and we won that race. But I hate to even say how much in parts we tore up so many things that's kind of why we didn't even get the thing out this year. We were just in recovery mode.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we got you here so we can get you back on next year and tell us how it all goes.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to that. Matter of fact, that race at Norwalk, Joey was driving it, and it ran okay. But I don't know if I guess it was a qualifying run or maybe first round. Joey did the bottom end. When he dropped the oil pan down, there was an intake valve in the oil pan, and Joey says, "We're done."
Yeah.
But then we get the thing all apart, and it wasn't that bad. We had to pull some sleeves out, and that's another thing that I really like about it. Those guys at that race, I mean, you're racing against guys, but when we had a problem, Jim Orban came over, Dave Belock came over, Taylor came over. I mean, those guys just pitched in. I mean, they're trying to get us running, and we're racing against them. So it was.
Excuse me.
It was just good. And then in the final, we raced Jimmy Young. So, and Jimmy had run. I mean, he had run good. I think he had run 570s. I think he ran some 570s, and we were just. I don't even know if we ran a 5. We might have just been running in the 6s. Yeah. But in the final, Jimmy smoked the tires or something, and Joey got around him. But Jimmy didn't give up. I mean, when Jimmy came to the end, man, he was hauling ass. He was really flying. So it was pretty cool. But we won.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, Stephen, you want to go to John and see who's out there in our chat bleachers tonight?
Sure.
Yes.
Let's check it.
We're here coast to coast, and everybody's happy to be here. And they all say good evening, and we're enjoying this interview, Steve. I have a couple of questions for you. And you might have already said what I'm going to ask you about, but I don't pay that much attention to the interview as I do to the chat board while this is all going on. But what size engine do you have in your dragster, and what percentage of nitro are y'all running?
Well, the motor is 413 cubic inches. It's a 4187 bore with a 376 stroke. So 413 cubic inches. And we run at least 90%.
Wow.
We seldom run anything. I mean, and we've run 97, 98%, but our baseline is 90% nitro, and it just seems to run good with that much fuel in it.
Right.
That's great. How does that 413, is that really a crisp sound compared to like a big old 500? Or can you really tell?
I would say it is. Guys everybody says this Chevy sounds so much better than any other motor. I can't hear it, but we were out at Norwalk, and Bowens, we had all the cars lined up in a row, and we did that. One fired up, and the next one fired up, and right on down the line. Well, when it got to us, Jimmy was working the injector, and we never whacked the throttle, and never, this particular day, Jimmy figures it's a good idea to whack the throttle. He whacked the throttle, and then they went on down the line. And after it was over, Bowen comes over to me and he says, "Man, that thing sounds badass." And his car is one of a good running car, Bowen.
Yeah.
Them.
It's like the old King Camaro. They said that thing was louder than any other nitro, funny car in the pits, and it was.
Yeah, they make a different sound, but I really can't tell. I mean, I don't know if it's just because I've been around it all the time. I don't know.
John, what else you got, my friend? Another question? You said you had a couple?
Well, Jack Red just showed up and he says, "Good evening, everybody."
Good old Jack. Do you know
Oh,
Jack?
Jack Red. You know what? I got a sticker on the injector. JA approved.
Woohoo!
Yeah, yeah. I've kept that thing on there for years. I mean, it's kind of rowdy looking, but JA approved.
Oh, we got it up in the corner here as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ray Stringer showed up and he says, "McClain spent so much time with me. He's my hero."
Ray Stringer's a good dude. When Frida and I did our cross country trip, we just went on vacation, and we stopped at Rod Phelps's house down in Tennessee, and then our next stop was at Ray Stringer's in Alamogordo, New Mexico.
Ooh, Alamogordo.
Yeah, we spent a couple of days there, camped out in his driveway, and him and his wife Michelle made us dinner, and we just had a great time hanging out with those folks.
That's great. Yeah, Ray's out there. What, doing it in a funny car? Isn't he on the
Yeah,
series?
yeah. He's bought some stuff from us over the years, pistons and cranks and different things here and there, and I'm not the tuner. I've never been the tuner. Ernie tuned it, and Jimmy tuned it. I mean, I know some stuff, but we kind of helped Ray get started a little bit on his, with the combination, with the compression ratio and that stuff. So, but Ray's doing good,
Heck yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, he's got our other block that after Ernie died, I was selling everything, and we had a block here that I have repaired. And Ray drove from New Mexico to here to pick the block up. So
wow.
Yeah.
Oh man, great to have you with us, Ray. John, anybody out there else?
Yeah, Rich Panicaro said, "Racers helping racers. That's what it's all about."
Yeah, it is. It is.
And y'all do that too. Everything I've seen is one hand helps the other hand, and it's the best sport that I could ever think of in the whole world. Because everybody helps everybody else.
Yeah, it's good. We've always had a good time, and a lot of times somebody, we just got a 34-foot trailer, but we got a lot of stuff in there. A lot of times some guys say, "Well, go see if McClain's got it." Not 9 times out of 10, we have everything,
Mm-hmm.
And just it's nice to be able to help the other folks out.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And let's see, Mark Zajac.
Oh yeah, hey Mark.
He said, "Chevy man all the way. Thanks."
Yeah, didn't he do that outlaw kind of thing? That guy.
Oh, that's Scott Gzak, but he's from the same area.
Wow.
He's a photographer and
okay.
works on a lot of cars up around New England. Welcome, brother. Good to have you tonight. Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Well, Ray had just made a couple of posts. He said, "Y'all were just talking here," and he says, "Yeah, there's no secrets." And he said, "I've been told I have the best sounding car in the pits. Every time I fire that car up, it's on nitro."
There you go.
And Pete Mariello just said, "I enjoy watching Ray Stringer run his Chevy." He said, "I watched him this last weekend."
Yeah, Pete's another funny car racer from out west there. One of the Sifka guys.
Right.
Howdy, Pete. Well, going back to Racers Helping Racers, tell us a little bit about who got you started, Stephen. You were telling us about Mr. Booker at the beginning.
Who really got us started was Henry Sweetman. Do you know the Sweetmans?
I sure do. Still see Henry. I tried to get him and Jack Red together as often as I can while they're both still around the bench race.
Yeah, well, we grew up near Henry was one road over from us. So when we grew up, we kind of knew those guys. And he had it was called A-Fuel back then, small block Chevy. And I raced with, I didn't have a driver's license or anything. I'd go over to their place, help him, do whatever I could do. And that's who really got us started was Henry Sweetman. And he taught us a lot of stuff like the do's and don'ts of like just kind of what you're supposed to do around a race car, like not step over the chassis and all
Right.
kinds of, I guess you could call it etiquette. It's top fuel
Yeah.
etiquette, I guess you could say. And
Pit etiquette.
yeah, and those guys only live a few miles from here. I was talking to Drew a couple days ago. So sometimes if we're shorthanded and we need somebody to sit in the car to fire it up, Drew will come over and sit in it and help us out or whatever.
Well, that's awesome. Mr. Frantic Ford. So they have that Sweetman Brothers citation that
Yeah,
they've been running since the early 80s.
Yeah.
And then the Frantic Ford as well. We get to see Drew and Henry at least once or twice a year here.
Yeah, I just saw them up at the flea market at Maple Grove the other day. Henry, Drew, and Danny, they were all up there.
Yeah, they're awesome. Yeah, unfortunately we missed Henry at the Funny Car Nationals this year, but Drew was there and making his mark, of course.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. But Jim Booker, you were telling me earlier before the show came on that he kind of gave you the baseline setup for.
Oh yeah. Well, one thing I was working at GM and I met Jim Booker I guess it was at the Summer Nationals one year. I was just kind of bumming around through the pits and, I just was really interested in Chevrolets and I was just kind of standing watching him work on it. And he says to me, he said, "Hey, are you busy or what?" I said, "No, why?" He says, "Because I could use a hand here." So I started helping him and I got to know him pretty well. And then I'd meet him at Maple Grove or like the Dutch Classic or whatever the races were at that time.
Right.
And then one winter, I guess it was the winter of 76, I guess. His health was bad.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to him on the phone. He says, "Man, I could really use some help out here." So I took a leave of absence. From my job at General Motors, moved to Cincinnati.
Wow.
And helped Jim run that car.
Wow.
So, and we went to the Gator Nationals and runner up to Warren, Colburn, and Miller. So it was good. And Jim was, everything that we started with on this car, the original thing was all Jim Booker. It was the closed chambered heads, the compression ratio, the overdrive on the blower. I mean, everything, the camshaft, everything and it was no surprise that when we started out, it ran pretty decent right from the start because I kind of knew the recipe,
Yeah. He was amazing. National record holder at Gainesville, I think.
Yeah, 607. Yeah.
607, yep.
Yeah.
And let's see, he put someone in the car towards the end. It was the guy from Pittsburgh, Ted Wolf.
Ted Wolf.
Yeah. Teddy had to drive for him for a while when he wasn't doing well. But it's great to see his sons out there still rocking and rolling. Yeah,
he was driving the kid was driving for Leverage for a little bit.
Yeah. They're awesome, man. It's the fact that's generated. It's great to know like your heroes and then meet your heroes and meet all the families and then it just ties together over the generations, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I said, I lived I moved in with Jim out there in Ohio near Cincinnati, and I'd be down the car was under the house. There was one of those garages under the house.
Right.
I'd be down there working at night, banging or doing something. And Jim's wife, Beverly, came down one night and she says, "Steve, how much longer are you going to be working on this thing? I got to get some sleep." I said, "Oh, okay, Beverly." So I quit. But she was good. The whole family was great. I mean, just racing with Booker was a blast. I mean, he was really a nice guy. I mean, he was kind of calm, cool, and collected, And he would say stuff like, like we were getting ready to make a run or something, and I was always nervous. I'm still nervous. So he'd say, "Steve, calm down." He says, "It's our turn right now. We've jumped through hoops all day long. It's our turn. You take your time, do whatever you need to do," and kind of calm me down. He was
right.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I was always a Chevy fuel fan. I don't know why, but that's the way I grew up and I loved him. And I got it through the magazines. And so he was, foundational at that time.
Oh yeah. Speaking of magazines, this is one that I keep on hand. Can you see that?
Yeah. Good old National Dragster. That was the Summer Nationals this year.
Yeah, that's when he won.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and the interesting thing about Booker was he was not really a hardcore Chevrolet guy. The reason he raced Chevrolets was, he ran top gas first.
Yeah, right.
So he ran Chevrolets because he could build two Chevrolet small blocks cheaper than he could build one Chrysler Hemi.
Gotcha.
And then when they eliminated, he won the last Top Gas race there was.
Right. 1971.
So then when they switched to Top Fuel, he again went, instead of going with the Chrysler, he went with the Chevrolet because he get to get the aluminum block, the aluminum heads. That car weighed 1550 with him in it. Think about that. 1550. Yeah, this thing weighs 1850.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he was all about. The funny thing is, I'll be making a part, and it's like Booker's looking over my shoulder saying, "Hey, man, you got to get that thing a little bit lighter than that."
Yeah.
It's either him or Dodger. Dodger was a friend of ours.
Yeah, Dodger Glenn. Yeah.
And I got a picture of Dodger hanging up over here on the wall. And Dodger was always around, and he'd say, "Man," he'd say, "Well, when Ernie was getting his license at Maple Grove, Dodger signed his license, and Dodger told Ernie, he said, 'Look, don't burn out much past half track.'" That's the way Dodger was. He was fun.
He was the real deal back then. Sorry to lose him. Another one lost way too soon.
Yeah, and I raced with him and Fox a few times, and that one night at am I getting off track here too far?
No, you are talking about exactly what we want to talk about. You're doing great.
Okay, so we were at Thompson, Ohio with Dodger and Fox, and Dodger had just got licensed in that thing. And Dodger told me, he says, "Look, when I pull the starting line," he says, "look in, back then you didn't have the full side windows in it. He says, look in and see if I got oil pressure, because if I burn this thing up, Fox is going to kill me." So I looked in, I leaned over into the car where I could see the oil pressure gauge, and the oil pressure was good. So I told him, "Yeah, we're good." But I looked out the window, like down track where he was going to be looking. And remember how the windows fogged up?
Yeah.
The window was totally fogged in.
Wow.
So the lights came down. Dodger hauled ass down the track. We won the race that night. But I asked Dodger, I said, "How the heck did you see?" He said, "Hey, 200 foot, man, it cleared right up." First couple hundred feet, he didn't know where the hell he was.
Holy shit. That's my hometown track. That's where I raced as a teen in the mid 70s.
In Thompson, Ohio?
Thompson, Ohio, yeah.
How about that?
I saw it was Coke Cavalcade circuit there one night.
Yeah, that was back in that time frame. Yeah, that was I think there was a pretty good bump in that track, wasn't there?
Oh man, it was a hell of a bump. And between the two lanes, no guardrails, just a big green swath. So if you got down in there.
Yeah.
And many did in funny cars, but good days. We didn't know what we didn't know. Well, what is tell me a good old race day memory, what, like a miserable thrash story or something you still laugh about, but it, kind of something weird that happened in the pits, or
Well, the weirdest thrash thing that we had was just last year at Norwalk. Every run, this thing's down to the bones. I mean, we tore up all the heads. We I don't know how many pistons and sleeves we ruined. And, we're just working our asses off. And, we're coming back to return road, and the announcer says, "Well, we'll have top fuel." And we're in the final now. So the announcer says, "We'll have top fuel whenever they can get that thing back together." So that was kind of a funny one. I mean, we were just, it was brutal. As a matter of fact, the one guy that I said's on the team, Frank Cassell, I don't know if he's coming back, because I think we might have burned him out. Yeah, but that was a good weekend.
People all remember the good memories though, so maybe he'll forget it by now.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, what do you think, which you're out there running Hemis, and, the Bartones and folks are running low. Well, they're in the 40s at 270 now on an extreme good run. I think, Mendy won a 49. Obviously, Bertone's in the 50s and a 270. What do you think of the realistic ET and mile per hour ceilings for a nitro Chevy right now? You said you're going for the 60s and maybe 250. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I don't know how much better we can do than that. That might be about it.
It'd have to be a pretty perfect day, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And the thing that I kind of always wonder about is, the Chryslers are definitely easier to work on. I mean, this thing's a pain to get apart. I mean, you got to take the rockers off to get to the head bolts. I mean, it's when Jimmy was driving it. Brian Spencer is one of his guys, and he did the bottom end and a lot of other stuff, and we could get this thing down to the crankshaft and back together in 45 minutes, which is
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be just clicking, I mean, you got to have all the tools right. I mean, but Brian, Ernie didn't like a lot. I mean, he liked people, but a lot of people he really liked, And Brian Spencer was one of them guys that Brian could do almost nothing wrong. Ernie would get mad at, we were at the races one time, and Jimmy was driving, and we had burned some pistons and hurt some stuff, and Ernie's taking the rings out, putting rings back in the box and taping them up. And Jimmy Young says to Ernie, says, "Don't put that stuff away. We're going to use all that stuff by the time the day's over." Ernie hated to see parts get used up. I mean, he just, the good thing about Ernie was he was cautious. I mean, he put her to the floor, but when something was a little bit off, he'd shut it off,
Yeah.
Where Jimmy Young, he's kind of like, if you want to win a race, Jimmy Young's your driver.
He's the Pat Foster these days, right?
Yeah. And Joey too. I mean, Joey was kind of a cautious and balls to the walls kind of guy. I mean, because Joey was a good driver. He could figure some stuff out. And now he's doing his own car. That and he's going to be running, I guess, IHRA next year.
Oh, that's cool.
Probably be doing the full circuit.
Yeah, that's an exciting deal there, man. It's
yeah, and I guess they're doing all 8th mile now, which is kind of good for everybody. Somebody's just trying to get into it.
I think they should do like Race Spokane did and let just anything with nitro and a blower on it run. Basically, because up there, that crazy World Finals they would have every August, they'd throw front motor cars in there to fill out the field.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a thrill for the fans, but. Well, Stephen, let's go back out to John and the bleachers out there. That we stole that name from Dina Parisi, who told us, she calls them the chat bleachers, and that works for me. So, what do the folks say out there, John?
Well, Rich Panicaro asked how Jack Red is doing, and Jack didn't answer him, but I did. I said I can answer that for Jack. He's doing great.
Jack is 93, and I wish I looked that good when I'm.
Yes, sir. And Ray Stringer had a question. He said, I want to know, when was the first time you burned nitro yourself, and in what car?
For me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first time we burned nitro was in 1972, and it was a car that Walt Wanny built for us, front engine B-fuel dragster. And we were running probably at least 80% nitro in the thing, and that was in 1972. The first drum of fuel we bought was from Steve Lesueur's father, Frank. And I think I still got some of them fuel jugs we got from Frank Lesueur, and I think that drum of nitro was $400.
Wow.
Which at the time, that was expensive because Pete Dove, we're getting our nitro from Pete Dove right now, and it went up considerable this last year.
Yeah.
But Pete's a good fellow. I mean, he delivers the fuel to the track for us. I mean, Pete at all or not?
I don't know. I know Steve Lesueur. I hang out with Steve quite a lot at the Nostalgia Drags, and I know he still carts fuel around. But so Pete, I don't know.
Pete Dove. Pete Dove, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, those little crazy B-fuel dragsters. I've never heard one in person, but I know that they ripped up the track.
Yeah, and those things were so much simpler than this thing right now. I mean, these things are kind of complicated with the fuel system and all that. That car was so easy. I mean, it just had it had the fuel pump, not a lot of gizmos on it,
Yeah, who did your injectors back then? Did you send them to the coast for
Yes, we did. Adams did. Gene Adams did.
Gene Adams.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he did the original injector on this.
Wow.
Because the difference between Booker's combination and this, one of the biggest things was the fuel pump. Jim didn't have near the fuel that we have.
Yeah.
So when we went to 20 gallons, that's when I got some help from Gene Adams to kind of figure out the nozzle area and all that stuff.
He's
But
the
then since
wizard.
then, it's changed a lot since then.
Amazing. John, you have another thought from someone?
Well, yeah, Steve, in your graphic that I made for your feature tonight, there's a black and white photo of a dragster in the top right. Is that the dragster we're talking
No,
about here?
I think that's Bob Leverage. I think that's a Bob Leverage car.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, you got that. You got that from my picture file somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
Bob Leverage.
Okay, cool.
Awesome. That's so cool that you guys have that relationship going back and tying it together.
Yeah.
What a great family sport.
And
John, anybody else?
that picture of me and Freda there, that was Kentucky Derby in 2017, I think.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Looking
Great,
good.
man. Well, Pete Mariello mentioned that Ray Stringer was a California Independent Funny Car Association member, the CIFCA,
Mm-hmm.
and at the moment we're caught up.
Sounds good. My goodness. Well, so Stephen, away from the track, what keeps you balanced when the wrenches are down, and where can fans follow or support the Mill Road Boys online? Do you have a Facebook page or something they can follow?
No, we don't. I don't have a Facebook page. No. Just people to know what we do here. But I keep busy mowing grass, trimming trees, and splitting firewood. Working on everything that's broke. There's something always in the house. Some plumbing issue or heater problem. Or and I don't know. Do you know David Pace?
Yeah, the Texas Whips. I sure do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
David Pace. I'm friends with David Pace, and I talk to him every once in a while. We just talk about different stuff. And David told me I was working on something. He says, "You know one thing, we're cursed." I said, "How so?" He said, "Because we know how to fix stuff."
Yeah.
So whenever something's broke, they said, "Hey, can you come fix this thing?" Yeah. So if I can't fix it, I know somebody can fix it.
Right. Yeah, you're screwed, guys. Yeah, David's another great guy, another great top fuel racer from back in the day. Ran for the Texas Whips, the Carroll brothers,
The
and
Carroll brothers. Yes. Yeah, I was on vacation in Roatan with my wife, and we were laying on the beach. And I'm not much of a beach guy, but Frida says, "You need to take some books." Well, I don't read that much, so I took every drag racing thing that I had. So I'm on the beach, and I'm reading remember they had the Krager 5 Second Club, the Krager 250. So in the 250, I told Frida, I says, "David Pace, I know him. He's one of the 250-mile-an-hour club guys."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Speaking of books, Brian Loams, you've done some stuff with him?
Yeah, he's amazing. He's terrific.
He is. I've been listening to those things, and then one of the things he says, you got to get that book, Speed Duel. Did you read that book yet?
No, I haven't.
I got so the book comes in the mail the other day, and my daughter asked me, "Are you going to use it as a coaster or a doorstop?"
That's sort of how all the books do in my house. I do all my reading right here, unfortunately, but I do have some.
Yeah. But it's a darn good book. It's about breed love and orphans. It is really good. And that Brian Loams guy, he's such a great storyteller. He does the history of nitromethane and the history of hydrazine. It is just so interesting. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. There's a couple of guys. There's a small contingent of guys and people, I should say, because a couple of gals as well. But Loans, of course, Brett Kepner is a good friend of mine, known him for years and years, and he'll pull up a story and tell you how you did round by round in 1972 with that B fuel car.
How about that?
He's amazing, and of course, some of them might surprise you, who is also in this historical background for drag racing is John Force. Now his name's escaping me, but the guy who drove the other funny car for John Ford, Jack Beckman. He has really gotten into the history as well, and he's gone through and looked up some cool stuff.
Well, this one guy that used to help us, Jerry Hangy, Ernie and I put together a top fuel car for Jerry. Jerry bought a brand new car, and Ernie and I sold him our iron motor that we had and some cylinder heads. We put the whole thing together and took it to Rockingham, and Jimmy Young came down to give us a hand. And I said, Jimmy, how about you make the first pass in this thing? Because, Jimmy jumped in that thing. I mean, he had never even seen the car before, but he believed in what Ernie and I could do. That light came down. Jimmy put her to the floor. Man, it hauled ass. So
wow,
yeah,
that's amazing. I need to get that. I need to look him up. What was the gentleman's last name?
Hangey, Hangey, Jerry Hangey. He's from somewhere up in Pennsylvania.
Okay. I'll have to look that up, because the thing is, the way drag mags are, or even now it's all online, you might say, hey, yeah, Jimmy Young made this great run and he went X. Well, in your mind, you're like, okay, was that in Steven's car? Was that in his own car? Was it? And if it doesn't say, now I'll have to go make sure we got old Jerry listed up.
Yeah, Jerry's, we put that car together, and he got his license and he made some runs with it, but now he's gone to the dark side. Now he bought a car with a Hemi in it.
Oh no.
I don't know if I can still talk to Jerry or not. Well, I was kidding Ray Stringer recently. Ray Stringer was talking about putting a Hemi in his funny car, and I said, Ray, if you put one in there, I'm not talking to you no more, man.
There'll be no more trips to Alamogordo after that, my friend.
Yeah, but of course I'm just kidding.
Of course.
Anybody that races good.
That's right. Well, let's go to the chat one more time. John, anybody else with a final thought, or yourself, before we say farewell to Mr. McClain?
Chris Mumme, Mumme, showed up just now, and he said, "What a motley crew."
Do you know Chris, or is he talking about the guys?
I don't know Chris. I mean, I made a cross past him once, but I don't really recall that name.
Well, Chris has got the vibe, man. Yeah, we are a motley crew out here for sure, and especially those guys on the chat now.
Yeah, I don't mind being called motley. That's cool with me. And Ray said, it's not happening. He said, Chevy forever.
Okay.
And Dale Broderick showed up. He says, good evening, everybody. And Ford Purley, same thing. He says, sorry I'm late, but he's here with us, and we're glad y'all are with us.
All right, guys. Hello. Yeah, Dale, Stephen, I don't know if you've seen his cars. You've seen down Budds Creek, a little candy apple red A comp coupe.
That is a beautiful hot rod.
I've seen pictures of it. Yes.
Yeah, a little chrome Chevy with blower, on alcohol. That's a fun car. So yeah, he's one of our good buddies. Everybody's our good buddy. We have the best crew in I stole Bill Jenkins' super crew term several years ago.
Before I forget, I got to do some thanks. Do I have time for some thanks?
Yeah, please tell us your shout out list.
Okay, I got it right here. Can you stand by for just a minute here?
Absolutely. We're here at your pleasure, sir. That gives us a better look at that bad old Chevy motor right there. This is awesome.
Oh, here we go. Here's my list. Okay. Jim Orban, True Grinding. He does our floaters and clutches and stuff. He's out in Ohio. Jim Orban, he's another Chevy guy. You know Jim?
I went to school with that guy, believe it or not.
Are you kidding me? Orban, what a...
Yeah. The guy with the Time Bandit, with a little Chevy.
Yeah.
That's my high school pals, along with Conrad Dollar, used to run a Top Alcohol.
Oh yeah, Conrad, the Victory Valve guy.
Yeah.
How about that?
That's my boys.
Okay, Jim Rowe is Accurate Machine, which is a fellow that lets us use his machine shop. Because we do the cylinder heads and a lot of machining here. But if I need something like line board or something, Jim Rowe at Accurate Machine does it.
Awesome.
Bill Norris at Positive Performance. He does fuel lines for us, the lightweight fuel lines, G&E welding. I do some welding. Matter of fact, this car is a Sterling chassis that we bought at the flea market in Bakersfield from Brendan Murray.
Really?
Yes. And we had a towing accident coming back from Bakersfield one year. The welder fell over in the trailer and bent the frame. And Bob Jenkins came down here. We set a jig up in the garage right here. We cut the car in half, stretched it out to because it was only 197 or something when we got it. Stretched it out to 225, which Jenkins had suggested in the beginning to make the car longer. As soon as we did that, it just drove better. It was just a better car.
Yeah.
So Bob Jenkins has helped us a lot. the
He's
wing.
awesome.
He built the first original set of wings for this thing. I said, Bob, how much do I owe you? He says, you can't afford to pay me. Put my name on the wings. So that's
There you go.
Oh, and Jimmy Young, Extreme Top Fuel. He put this whole series together
Yeah.
for us to run at. And he runs around the pits like a chicken with his head cut off. He's helping everybody. So Jimmy
Right.
Young, Extreme Top Fuel. Chuck Hadley is a close neighbor of ours here, and he helps me with sheet metal work and all. It's Monocoque Metal Works.
Cool.
Roger Levine at Crowler Clutches. You probably heard him before, right?
Yep. Yep.
Brad and Jane Fields. They live out in Michigan, and they supply us with maple syrup.
That's important. Come on.
Pete Dove, the Nitro, GM, and the UAW, which helped me, build all this stuff.
Right.
And Snooky's Originals. They do shirts and apparel.
Right. Awesome.
And of course the family. Frida, my two kids, Alexandra and Adam, my son-in-law Ray Johnson, my grandson Connor, and they all help out.
They're helping you go right to the top on Nitro Top Fuel, and I think we have Alexandra there with us tonight, right? To kind of
step over
directing, yeah.
Here she is.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I think
I'm his IT coordinator.
that works for me. I just a bunch of
Yes.
drag racers out here. Heart started thumping, I think, as they. Nice to meet you, Alexandra.
Yes,
Thank you
you too.
for getting us all set up tonight.
I thought I was going to run out of stuff to talk about, but I guess I didn't.
Nah, it's like bench racing leaning on the transporter back in the pits. That big old Chevy. You have every single car in your house is a Chevy too, by the way. You were telling me, so you're owning it. Well, Stephen, it's so great to visit with you, my friend. Always love talking to you, no matter where we do it. So let's check in next year. Tell us how that season goes with the new driver and that combination of folks coming together to build one of the fastest Chevys on the planet.
Okay, man, Bill, it's good talking to you, and hope to see you around somewhere.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen McClain of the Mill Road Boys, and he's going to come to a track near you next year, burning nitro.
I hope so.
Sir. Happy holidays.
John.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
All right. Let's say farewell to Stephen, and we will turn it over to Mr. Bachman for this week's JB's Take and the Racer of the Week. John, take it away.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Thank goodness. My pick for Racers of the Week are Sheldon Lofgreen and Art Nolte from Gilbert, Arizona. Their 98 Trans Am funny car, which doubles as a 23 fuel altered, is one of the coolest and most unique cars I've run across lately. Art Nolte's Arizona Thunder, a Scottsdale, Arizona-based turbocharged alcohol altered, is a hot rod that is totally different from all of its competition. Not only in respect to the turbos, but the fuel system, too. He sent Sheldon to Frank Hawley's drag racing school to get his funny car license, and they ran a circuit with the CIFCA, the California Independent Funny Car Association, using a 1471 alcohol blower motor until the group disbanded. Now part of the WFA, which is the Western Fuel Altereds, a heads-up racing group, Arizona Thunder, a 23 T-bodied Bantam, first ran the same 1471 engine it used when they were racing with the CIFCA, but are now racing the turbocharged alcohol engine. The basic engine is a Rodec TFX 92 500 cubic inch displacement block with a Crowler crankshaft and a Crowler steel rods connected to JF pistons and rings. Crowler also provided the custom-made camshaft and roller lifters. The heads are Dart 96s with Manton push rods, Stage 5 rockers, and Manley valves. The ignition system is an MSD 10 Plus system, and the plugs are from Autolite. A wet sump and Lucas 70-weight racing oil are used to lubricate the engine, and a Dan Olson oil pan completes the oiling system. The headers are of the team's own design and fabrication, and they are really fantastic to look at. I was very impressed with the engineering that went into this car. But the big difference between this engine and those of its competitors is that power is provided by two Borg-Warner turbochargers that were modified by Turbo Auto Diesel of Phoenix with an intake manifold that was custom designed by Art and built by Hogan Racing Manifolds. Even more differentiating is the RSA, the random sequential absorption mechanical fuel injection system that was salvaged off an aircraft engine that Art and his crew adapted to their application using 3 fuel controllers from Airflow Performance to work with the turbochargers. Something of a rare find, to say the least. Directly behind the engine comes a quick drive torque converter drive and converter from US Transmission and a Lenco 3-speed transmission. This setup eliminates the need for a clutch. In fact, the race car leaves and drives similarly to most passenger cars, just a little quicker. The rear employs strange engineering, 430 gears, axles, and hubs. They use an autometer tachometer and gauges, and they use an Edelbrock data recorder to provide information for tuning the car. As Sheldon Lofgreen of Scottsdale is partnered with Art, he drives the car and also helps keep the mechanical end of things in order. He's been mentored by some great people. He crews on Jerry Darian's A Fuel car, and he's been doing that for 10 years. He also crews on a funny car and a pro mod team. Will Napier does everything from mechanics to paint, and crew member Phil Flowers lends a hand with all areas of the car. Well, guys, this is an outstanding group, and this hot rod is a great example of thinking outside the box with great success. Sheldon and Art, thanks for accepting my offer to be Races of the Week. We wish you good luck, safe racing, and the best of times in the future. Everybody stay safe and well. You are the most important part of this show, and we love you all. It's a great way to spend an hour together on a Monday night. And we'll see you all next time. God bless America. Back to you, BP.
Thank you, John. Great stuff, man. I'm dying to know what that car runs. I'll have to dig into it. Someone will let me know. But I mean, you look at like Turbo Pro mods, man, and someone ever gets that dialed into an altered or a funny car, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Well, very, very cool. Well, let's
Well,
talk about, go ahead.
Well, they don't allow turbos on top fuel cars. They banned them several years back and everything. And the same deal with funny cars using nitrous and all that, you know. But in the pro mods and now with fuel alters, you can do that, and it's really cool. And these guys have, to me, it's a stroke of genius to do something like this. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm looking for best of luck. As I love unique things, and they're really
Right.
definitely selling that. So cool. Thank you, John. Let's talk about congrats to the NHRA World Champions. I would say congrats to the iTray World Championship. I'm not quite sure who they are yet. So let me run through some names. Doug Coletta, Top Fuel, Austin Proc, Funny Car, Dallas Glenn, Pro Stock. Congrats to him on that first one. And Richard Gadsden, Pro Stock Motorcycle. We already had Richard Gadsden scheduled for January, and now we're going to have to adjust our promotional material to say World Champion Richard Gadsden will be joining us. But Khalid, I'm a big Doug fan. Austin Proc did great again. You know, too bad they couldn't get the race off. I don't, I think NHRA probably made the best decision they could. I like the idea of taking the championship spots in order to seed the fields. That made sense to me. And then, of course, when we couldn't run the race on Sunday, just award the winners. So congrats. It was unique, but well deserved. And the other thing now on the iTray side, I went to the iTray site today to try to lock in all of their world champions for this fantastic rebirth and series they did. I was not able to find a comprehensive list, so I'm looking forward to seeing that if anybody can send it. I do know, I think that Del Worsham claimed the funny car slot. Phil SESZ. Now, I don't quite know how Phil's last name is said, but I know he went to 5 finals and won 4. So he pretty much locked up the top alcohol title. But then what about everybody else? Top Fuel was so tight with so many different winners. Mountain Motor Pro Stock, some of the I've seen more Mountain Motor Pro Stock runs this year than I've seen in a decade. And chatting with Brett about it, he says all the cars were out there. They were just sitting in the garage looking for a place to run. So really glad between PDRA and IHRA we have places to run them. And then fuel altereds were great as well. John, you had a thought?
Well, yeah, I was looking for that. I was looking to see who won the top alcohol classes, and actually, the points leader was Sean Cowie in top alcohol dragster, and he had about a 20-point lead over the next guy. I think it was Joey Severance is right behind him, and then Jackie Fricky behind him. But I couldn't find top alcohol funny car,
Well,
so I'm glad you said that.
Well, that I'm talking about the IHRA side, the NHRA side, which I didn't mention, and I apologize for that, was Sean Bellemere
Oh, yeah,
with the Bartone brothers car. They had a dominant season, and then of course, as you said, Sean Cowie. So congrats. And of course, Jackie's all right there. All those guys. That's such a tight class. But yeah, and I know our buddy Tom Fox did well in top alcohol at the recent IHRA race, but I'm not sure, frankly. What all the championship categories are. I'm not sure if all of the pro categories raced at every race, every event. So we'll get it. We'll have to lock in and get put our IHRA hats on here. I know that Rob McCabe will keep me straight.
yeah.
But
Just just between you and me and the rest of the world that's listening to us right now, I think what the IHRA is doing is absolutely fantastic.
mhm.
I'm very happy if they went to eighth mile. That's it.
Yeah.
That's going to bring in so many more racers, and it's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you'll be able to see the finals. That's for, I mean, the finish for everyone. You won't be
Yeah,
looking at the ass end of two cars as they go and then put your eyes up on the scoreboards to see who won.
yeah.
Very good stuff. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. I'm a big match race or like top fuel fan and funny car fan. I love I love all the categories. That's why we have them all on the drag list. And the fact that we can go see all of them in an event just is amazing to me. Um, cool stuff. I also so we'll see if we can get some IHRA championship info for you for next Monday night show. But I also wanted to say congratulations to USA Archer Matt Stutzman, who was on the Armless Archer, who was on with just a month or maybe two ago. He's been named the best male summer sports. He was the best male summer sports category at the Paris Sport Awards 2025. Matt was awarded for his performance and achievements between 1 May 2023 to 31 March 2025, capping his decorated career for Team USA and in the Paralympic Games. So congrats to Matt Stutzman. I got this PR just before we came on the air. So very, very exciting. Of course, we had the Arnold Archer on because he's also a pretty badass pro mod racer as well, or with his fast door slammer. Congratulations to you, Matt. Let's talk about some upcoming guests. Next Monday night, it's Robert West, also known as Radio Bob, the guy who replays our stuff on his fantastic internet radio station. It also has a lot of groovy music. So looking forward to talking to Radio Bob. December 1st, Lenny Lottig, the Factory X champion for 2025. I'm starting to go back in time here. And Lenny also just set up a brand new event for folks to come visit and hang out over the holidays and the off season. I'll have all the details for that certainly by the time we talk to Lenny, but it's pretty cool. It's kind of like a practice tree sort of thing at his house. So he's inviting everybody. So we'll chat with him about that. December 8th, Jason Harris, the four-time PDRA champion, will be joining us. December 15th, Justin Schreifer, funny car racer. December 22nd, can't believe how fast that's coming up, but no show for Christmas week. December 29th, Teddy J. Say in the Say It Loud Motorsports Fuel Funny Car. And then going into next year, January 5th, Richard Gadsden, the top the Pro Stock Motorcycle World Champion for 2025, will be our first guest of 2026. So exciting. On the 12th, Scott Woody Woodruff of IHRA will be with us. He's the guy that just announced his 8th mile thing for IHRA. So we're going to get all the info from Woody here on January 12th. On the 19th, Mason Magaha, NHRA Pro Stock Racer. 26th, a special guest that Kay says she's not going to tell me until she's ready, but she tells me it's going to be someone that's amazing. On February 2nd, Luke Bogacki, the IHRA dual champ, and of course, one of the greatest sportsmen racers of all time. February 29th, or sorry, February 9th, Vito Macchiolo, National Pro Mod Association. And then February 23rd, big bad Animal Jim Foyer is going to be joining us, the Pro Mod legend. February 16th, we'll find somebody for that slot. But lots and lots and lots of good folks coming up. Radio Bob next Monday night. Let's go on to those we lost. Only one name, but it's a monster of a name. We mentioned him before the show. We were talking with Stephen about him. And then, in fact, Stephen said that this gentleman was very kind to him and actually hosted them and let them do some work in his garage in California several years ago. But we lost Sid Waterman on the 16th. Going back through my records, I knew we've had Sid on the show. Sid was our guest. Now check this out, guys. November 17th, 2014, the exact night, except 11 years ago, we were honored to have Sid Waterman, excuse me, on our show. He had just won a Lifetime Achievement Award. He just to walk through, of course, some of the best fuel pumps in the history of the sport, a terrific engine builder. But he was inducted in the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame in 2009. 75, he was the Carcraft Magazine All-Star Drag Racing Team Engine Builder of the Year. In 84, Carcraft Magazine All-Star Drag Racing Team Special Manufacturer Award for his amazing fuel pumps. Carcraft recognized him again in 86 with another Special Manufacturer's Award for his supercharged burst panel, something that everybody's used to. Well, Sid was there on front lines of safety then. In 2004, honored again by USAC. He was presented with the prestigious CNA Jack O'Neill Award for significant contributions to auto racing safety. And of course, Sid was one of drag racing's genuine pioneers, building his first top fuel dragster in 1960, and then working with such luminaries as Mickey Thompson and so many other great over the years. He ultimately developed his own brand of aluminum connecting rods, as well as his own line of superchargers for hardcore racers. And for those of us from the 70s, remember those funny car wars between Ed Pink, Keith Black, Sid Waterman, Steve Montrelli, a lot of racers coming out with their own motors during the time. Sid Waterman was one of those guys. And just an amazing, amazing, super nice guy. He's even done, I remember sitting in Indy with Brett at the 1,000-Foot Club when Sid Waterman was on doing color commentary at Indy, talking about the Creighton guy, throwing a shout out to the 1,000-Foot Club, by the way. So just a great, great guy. One of the folks who made a massive impact on drag racing, Indy 500, just everything you could possibly do to make racing faster and more safe and more consistent. Farewell to the great Sid Waterman, and our condolences to the family, of course, and many, many thousands of friends of Sid Waterman over the years. With that, let's turn it over to John for his final thoughts on tonight's show. John?
Well, I was a big fan of Sid Waterman, and he was a fine gentleman. And I'll never forget when he came on our show and how good he was to us. And he was a fountain of information about his technology. I thought he was a mechanical genius. And, he's one of those people that everybody that knew that guy loved him. And what more could you ask out of life than that, And of course, having Steve McClain on the show tonight was another treat. He was just another guy that has so much information and so much history in our sport, and he's got a future in our sport.
Yeah.
And I just really appreciated Steve coming on the show tonight. and I appreciated my races of the week.
Mhm.
What's cool is that the races of the week that I've got lined up are all excited about being on the show,
Awesome.
about being featured on the show. Whereas I had a while, it seemed like 40 years in the desert where I couldn't get anybody interested in it, and now they're coming to me. I don't even have to go looking for them. They're coming and checking in with me about it. So I'm
Nice.
excited to finish out the year with races of the week and all of our wonderful guests. And thanks to Kay and Pete for getting these people for us. Great job, y'all. And Ray, uh, uh, R.A. Rob McCabe.
Yeah, Rob. Yep. Yeah, thank you, bud. Appreciate it. And I totally agree. Let's do our final wrap. I want to thank Stephen McClain, who was great. So much fun bench racing, right? I loved we covered all the eras tonight. It was great. Of course, John Bachman, of course, Kay Turkelson, who, by the way, Kay has been just putting up tons of new content on the Draglist Facebook page. Thank you, my friend, for doing that. Pete Moriello, Rob McCabe, who's rocking and rolling, put up some lots of entries today. David Oakes, brand new coverage from David Oakes up on the front page of Draglist. So check out those photos. Mel Bashore, of course, Ron Toombs, John Mernon II, who's been putting up some great photos along with our entries, and good old Jeff Gilder, who got us started in this gig back in 2010. Thank you, sir. Of course, thanks in heaven to Danny White, the man who did so much for us for so many years. Folks, click the like button, the share button down below, click the subscribe logo there, the Draglist logo will let you subscribe to the channel. We're getting more and more folks every week. We want to get even more folks. And please check in on draglist.com every day to see what's new. And you can find us on the Radio Bob Network, which showcases our shows as part of their playlist. And you know what? We'll ask him a little bit more about it because we'll see you next Monday night, November 24th, for Robert West, also known as Radio Bob. With that, I'm going to click my little notes here. Whoops, I've lost my screen and I've recovered it. And now I'm ready to say farewell. Hope you all have a really awesome week. And we'll see you next Monday night. Bye, everyone.